I was dead wrong about altcoins and my altcoin portfolio, and I invested too early in them. Expect to learn in this video my 4 lessons from that decision and whether I'll keep my altcoin portfolio. First and foremost, it's everyone's decision to make a certain investment into the markets, and in hindsight, everything is easy. Everybody is a king. But that's essentially the key of this video, as there are a lot of lessons that I want to take away from the decisions that I've made in the past year. The first lesson is the most important one, which I've been getting to multiple times during the periods of reflection, which is my older content from years ago. I've been publicly saying on podcasts or my own videos that I don't believe that the 4-year cycle is going to last and that we don't have it anymore. And the interesting part here is that time passes and it seems to be that the 4-year cycle doesn't exist anymore. Like, we are currently in the bullish year for crypto, and instead of that, we've had a pretty dramatic quarter going down in terms of the prices. So the time is proving the fact that I've been saying that, but I basically decided to build and make my strategy on the 4-year cycle despite saying something else. And interestingly enough, I'm a huge advocate for practicing what you preach, and that's why I couldn't really understand the way that I've been going into the markets and the decision that I've made. That's why I've spent tons of hours of time to understand what has happened in the markets, why it has happened in the markets, and what is likely going to happen, and why the markets have been going down as much as they did. And there's one chart that is important, which you can see next to me. It is the Chinese renminbi valued against the US dollar. If you zoom in on previous cycles, it's quite clear that there is a huge correlation between the strength of the Chinese renminbi versus the strength of crypto. So typically, if the dollar goes down and the Chinese renminbi goes up, that means that risk-on assets like crypto do well. And in the past 24 hours, we saw an initial move up, and then during the Chinese trading hours, the actual market started to rally again. That's a pretty big signal that the markets might be reversing. So it's quite clear that the reason behind the correction that we have seen has nothing to do with crypto, but has everything to do with macroeconomics and the dynamics between foreign currencies and appetites. And as you can see on the right side of the chart, the renminbi has not shown any strength, but it has been providing a deep wick in the previous month, which is a new low against the dollar, and that might be the signal that we are reversing the trend. Which brings me to my second lesson. The second lesson is to take nothing for granted at all times. It's pretty much a combination with the previous one, but if you bet everything on one single thesis and you're so confident about that thesis, then you need to realize that the downside can be very, very painful, and you need to combat that or endure that, whatever you want. But I'm sure a lot of you have been making the mistake to overbetting the confidence of having one single thesis, which is the 4-year cycle. And when it doesn't work out, it is a very rough period. The good part, though, which I hope it helps, is that the content I kept producing while being so much down with my portfolio helps you holding your portfolio. Because I understand that during these periods you might say, everybody on social media says it's done, we are over, crypto doesn't work anymore. I've been there. It happened in 2019, it happened in 2018, it happened in 2022. It's going to happen multiple times again. So it makes sense for me to have this journey on this channel and to basically conclude that nothing is for granted and the complexity of the markets will increase. The third lesson is aligned with that, which is the more noise the markets produce, the simpler your strategy should become. And the reason why I'm saying that is that I questioned myself how much of an impact the news is having to my strategy. Is it adding value? If Trump says something, if Trump tweets something. And in the recent days, it's actually proven that it doesn't. So all the noise that we see is represented into the price and the data that we have. So if we have that thesis, then we need to be relying on that data, making sure that we have the strategy, because news always comes afterwards, as insiders know the news and make decisions based on that before everyone else can do. And I think that that will continue to be the case, especially with Trump in the office, unless we have black swan events. So I decided to simplify everything related to my strategy, because that is making me more comfortable, more relaxed, more certain about the ways to go in the markets, and not letting it influence my decision making with all the noise that we have. And the final lesson is expand your expectations. A reality check has happened in the past quarter. We have seen a pretty harmful period for everyone holding risk on assets. The more you are on the risk curve, the more pain you would have had. And I think this cycle is completely different than the previous cycle. We had an all-time high pre-halving. We had a rough first quarter of this bullish year. It's very likely to expect a completely different cycle in the upcoming years to come, which means that you need to go back towards just price and data alone, but you also need to expand your expectations, as it simply takes time for institutions to adopt crypto. And if you are looking to get your big return, very likely it will still come, but in a wider range instead of the short vertical moves that we witnessed in the previous cycles. There are some changes happening right now. The tables are turning, and that's why I've got a little surprise for you in our update tomorrow. So make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Ciao. During these markets, I'm always looking for opportunities to build my portfolio, and OKX is bringing you an opportunity. They are the first fully licensed exchange in Europe with the lowest fees. And to help you a little bit with your portfolio and to celebrate this milestone, they are giving away up to 50 euros in Bitcoin if you sign up today on the exchange. Signing up can be done within 5 minutes, and if you deposit 100 euros worth of crypto, you'll receive the first 20 euros in Bitcoin. Start rebuilding your portfolio today. Go to the link in the description or scan the QR code and enjoy up to 50 euro in Bitcoin.